The Sony FX9 II is quickly shaping up to be one of the most consequential cinema camera releases Sony has attempted in years. As leaks continue to circulate across industry circles, it's becoming increasingly evident that this camera is not meant to quietly replace its predecessor. Instead, the Sony FX9 II appears positioned as a strategic reset, a clear signal that Sony intends to reassert dominance in the professional full-frame cinema market at a time when competition has never been more intense. For filmmakers who depend on reliability, image quality, and efficient workflows, the FX9 II could represent a defining shift in what a mid to high-tier cinema camera is expected to deliver. The original Sony FX9 earned its reputation not through flashy specifications, but through consistent real-world performance. It became a staple on documentary shoots, broadcast productions, corporate films, and independent features because it balanced cinematic image quality with practical usability. However, the filmmaking landscape has evolved rapidly since its debut. Production timelines are shorter, crews are smaller, and expectations around codecs, frame rates, and autofocus intelligence have risen dramatically. Cameras are now expected to deliver not only beautiful images, but also seamless integration into modern, fast-paced workflows. According to current leaks, the Sony FX9 II has been designed specifically with this reality in mind. Central to the Sony FX9 II's rumored redesign is a newly developed full-frame sensor. While Sony has not confirmed specifications, multiple reports suggest that this sensor represents a meaningful leap rather than a marginal improvement. One of the most frequently mentioned upgrades is a refined dual native ISO system, which would allow the camera to maintain consistent image quality across vastly different lighting environments. For cinematographers, this translates into fewer compromises when transitioning between low-light interiors and bright exterior scenes. Exposure becomes more forgiving, and lighting setups can be simpler without sacrificing cinematic depth. Dynamic range is another key area where the Sony FX9 II is expected to raise the bar. Industry whispers point toward a dynamic range approaching or even reaching 17 stops. If achieved, this would place the FX9 II firmly among the elite cinema cameras currently available. High dynamic range is not just about numbers, it directly impacts how naturally a scene renders. Smooth highlight roll-off, clean shadows, and preserved midtones allow images to feel more organic and less digitally constrained. For colorists and cinematographers alike, this kind of latitude opens up creative possibilities that extend well beyond basic exposure correction. In addition to improved dynamic range, the Sony FX9 II is rumored to employ a 6K sensor pipeline that oversamples footage to produce exceptionally detailed 4K output. Oversampling has become a hallmark of high-end cinema cameras because it enhances perceived sharpness while reducing artifacts like moire and aliasing. This approach also provides additional flexibility in post-production. Editors can crop, stabilize, or reframe shots without noticeable quality loss, an increasingly important advantage as content is repurposed across multiple formats and platforms. If the FX9 II delivers strong oversampled 4K, it could meet or exceed the technical requirements of premium streaming services and broadcast networks. Perhaps the most disruptive rumored feature of the Sony FX9 II is the inclusion of internal Apple ProRes recording. This single change could dramatically alter how filmmakers approach production with Sony cinema cameras. Historically, achieving ProRes RAW or high-quality ProRes workflows on Sony systems required external recorders, adding cost, complexity, and physical bulk. By bringing ProRes recording directly into the camera body, Sony would remove a long-standing friction point in its ecosystem. Internal ProRes 422HQ and ProRes RAW would allow filmmakers to capture high-quality footage without external hardware, simplifying rig setups and reducing potential points of failure. This is particularly valuable for documentary shooters, solo operators, and small crews who prioritize speed and mobility. ProRes is also widely accepted across editing platforms, making post-production smoother and more predictable. If the Sony FX9 II delivers reliable internal ProRes recording, it could instantly become one of the most workflow-friendly cinema cameras on the market. High frame rate performance is another area where the Sony FX9 II is rumored to excel. Reports suggest the camera may support 4K recording at up to 120 frames per second while maintaining professional-grade color depth. Additionally, full HD frame rates could reach as high as 240 frames per second. These capabilities would allow filmmakers to capture dramatic slow-motion footage without sacrificing image integrity. Importantly, leaks indicate that Sony has worked to preserve color information and dynamic range even at higher frame rates, ensuring slow-motion clips remain suitable for serious grading and cinematic storytelling. Autofocus has long been one of Sony's strongest competitive advantages, and the Sony FX9 II appears set to extend that lead. According to insiders, Sony is developing a next-generation AI-driven autofocus system specifically tuned for cinema use. Unlike traditional autofocus systems that react to changes in a scene, this new system is rumored to analyze subject behavior in real time, predicting movement and maintaining focus even during sudden or erratic motion. This would be especially beneficial in documentary, event, and run-and-gun scenarios where manual focus pulling is impractical. Low-light autofocus performance is also expected to improve significantly. Many autofocus systems struggle once light levels drop, but the Sony FX9 II is rumored to maintain reliable focus tracking even in dim environments. This could be transformative for filmmakers working in concerts, night scenes, or natural light interiors. For solo shooters, the ability to trust autofocus in challenging conditions can dramatically reduce stress and increase creative freedom. From a physical standpoint, the Sony FX9 II is expected to refine rather than reinvent its form factor. The camera is rumored to retain a robust magnesium alloy body, ensuring durability for professional use, while incorporating subtle weight reductions to improve handheld operation. Enhanced weather sealing is also anticipated, making the camera more dependable in adverse conditions. These changes suggest that Sony has listened closely to feedback from working professionals who rely on their gear in unpredictable environments. The user interface and monitoring experience are also rumored to receive upgrades. A brighter, higher-resolution flip-out touchscreen could improve visibility in daylight and make menu navigation more intuitive. Combined with a refined control layout, this would help streamline on-set operation, especially for operators who need to make quick adjustments while shooting. Sony's emphasis on ergonomics reflects a broader industry trend toward cameras that feel less like technical tools and more like natural extensions of the operator. Connectivity is another area where the Sony FX9 II is expected to shine. Leaked specifications suggest support for full-size HDMI 2.1, 12G SDI output, dual XLR audio inputs, and comprehensive timecode functionality. Advanced wireless connectivity, including Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2, is also rumored. These features would allow the FX9 II to integrate seamlessly into modern production environments, whether that involves live broadcasting, multi-camera synchronization, or remote monitoring and control. Color science remains a critical factor in any cinema camera discussion, and the Sony FX9 II is expected to continue Sony's recent improvements in this area. Updated S-Cinetone profiles, combined with enhanced LUT support, could provide more pleasing color straight out of the camera while retaining flexibility for post-production. Improved skin tone rendering, smoother highlight transitions, and a more natural film-like response are all rumored benefits. When paired with internal 10-bit and ProRes recording, these refinements could significantly reduce the amount of corrective grading required in post. As the filmmaking community waits for official confirmation, anticipation continues to grow. The Sony FX9 II stands at the center of a broader conversation about the future of cinema cameras, one where flexibility, intelligence, and integration matter as much as raw specifications. Should Sony deliver on its rumored ambitions, the FX9 II may not only succeed its predecessor, but also set a new standard for professional cinema production in the years to come.